Welcome to Bankole's Nation. I'm your host, Bankole Thompson. The rise of a new generation of entrepreneurs in Detroit. Meet Jordan Mottley, a new emerging entrepreneur here in the city of Detroit, here to talk about his Love Detroit project. It's coming up right after this break. Stay with us. All right, welcome to Bankole's Nation. My guest is Jordan Mottley, a Detroit entrepreneur and, of course, the founder of the LoveProject Detroit. Jordan, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I want to begin. I've been following you on Instagram. I've seen the Facebook postings and so forth. You have this streetwear brand, LoveProject Detroit. Let's talk about that.
Okay, where do you want to begin?
How did you conceptualize this?
So basically, again, last year is when I started, but it really started with like this seed that was planted my freshman year of college.
Okay,
Roommate had a clothing
and
brand as
this was at
well.
Michigan State University, right?
Yeah, Michigan State. Yep. So we were at Michigan State, and we were really just like studying and all that other stuff. So in my free time, I would, obviously like go out, go to the gym, be around my peers and stuff. But I also kind of had like this idea of like, okay, like I want to kind of design stuff because to me, I'm really like picky with what I wear. And a lot of times, places like Zara or H&M or whatever don't really have exactly like what I want. So I guess you can say like to scratch that certain itch,
Okay.
I said, okay, I might as well just take things in my own hands and make my own stuff because a lot of the times people are always asking me where I got like this sweatshirt from or where I got these pants from. So I said, hey, why not just make it yourself? So
Mhm.
that's kind of how it all started. And then basically last winter, I took it seriously. So I said, okay, I'm going to get all the things I need. Photoshop, Illustrator. I got Procreate on my iPad. I got in contact with manufacturers. And then from there, I kind of just winged it, a lot of trial and error, like a lot of trial and error.
Mhm.
And then obviously, I had help along the way. I had, friends and family who have, of course, helped me a lot.
Right.
And then even like people that I went to school with
Mhm.
hit me up and supported me and helped me out and gave me tips. So really it's just been a really long, but also like really fun journey from like, I guess you could say January of 2025 to now.
Right. So I'm curious. When I saw your Instagram posts, your Facebook posts on social media about the
Mm.
the Love Project, the streetwear brand that you just founded, it took me back to Snipes. In
Mm.
terms of shoes. I mean, I've shopped at Snipes. Actually, it was my 17-year-old son,
Mhm.
Jelani, who introduced me to Snipes.
Yeah.
So he and I've seen the way Snipes became this almost the a strong attraction among young people, and teenagers, and it's gym shoes and so forth, a different kind. And I'm looking at what you're doing. It almost reminds me, in the clothing on the clothing side,
Mhm.
it's almost as if what Snipes was able to do, even though Snipes is an international company. I think it's based out of Germany, so not even here. It has franchise
Yeah.
across the nation, but it's based out of Germany. Are you looking at this project as something where you could franchise at some point around the nation?
I would
Has
like
that
to
thought come
start,
across
if
your mind?
anything, like I would like to start here first. If anything,
Right.
like I was talking to my friend about this early this year. I would like to have something in place where, of course, having a brick and mortar store like Supreme has in New York or like
Right.
how Nike has in Chicago, something like
Uh-huh.
that would be beautiful and amazing. But I would also like to have something in place where I can give back to the community.
Okay.
So I was talking to him like he does photography and videography, he does poetry, and I would like to have something in place where we can really give back to the community, whether it's classes on weekends like Wayne State does, or summer camps to where
Hmm.
kids can learn about the arts, whether it's fashion, photography, videography, graphic design,
Hmm.
music, whatever they want. I would like to have something to where, of course, we can have a store, but I would love to have a building with multiple floors where, okay, we can have classrooms and all the other stuff just to get back to the community because that's really more important to me than money or anything else.
So that's at the core, giving back to the community and so forth. We're
Yeah.
speaking with Jordan Mottley, the founder of the Detroit streetwear brand Love Project. What has been the response, though, from people since you started this entrepreneurship project?
It's been great, honestly. The first pop-up shop that we attended was Hidden Gems Volume 3 back at the end of May.
Right.
My sisters and I and my social media manager and my really good friend Bryson all helped me out. We
Hmm.
were there for about 4 to 5 hours, meeting with people across the city. I saw, of course, my friends came through. A whole bunch of other streetwear brands were there as well. But the reception was honestly really great. It was a really good opportunity to network with other people. And I met a lot of cool people who also like want to work with me as well, whether it's people who do screen printing, or I also met two fashion designers as well and stylists who also want to work with me as well. And then again, just I think that day we got at least 30 or more followers on Instagram. So
Nice.
like
Right.
people like, hey, like we love what you're doing. Hey, I like this, I like that. Got on Instagram or my Instagram personally, and then I've kept in contact with them, or
Hmm.
I've seen them at other events as well. So it's just really cool to see like there are people who have the same dreams as you as well, or just like really like what you're doing, because I think we're really trying to be like authentic in ourselves and like not doing things the way other people do them, which is why I have the slogan dress outside the box, because I feel like I don't like being confined to boxes. I don't like being confined to just like a streetwear brand or anything else. I would love to just design what comes to my mind, which is really what I do half the time anyway. I just make what
So
I feel or what I want at that moment.
I like that. I like that phrase, dress outside the box. That in itself is a revolutionary thinking. It's a different way of thinking. So you're not conformed by, what people expect you to wear to
Mm-mm,
show up somewhere.
mm-mm. No, I never have been. Of course, my sister Sydney, she's a fashion designer as well. She has her own clothing brand where she does a lot of cut and sew. And I feel like I've taken a lot of things from her and even my mother in the way that I dress, to
Hmm.
where, they're always wearing a lot of like bright colors or patterns, or, different types of jewelry, you know what I'm saying? So for me, that always kind of weighed on me, especially even like going to church, you see all the bright colors, all the hats, all the pinstripes, everything like that. It's just like, I think it's always just so cool to have all the patterns and all the colors and stuff. It's
Right,
just really cool to me.
right. Well, have you taught? You mentioned churches, and of course, that's a massive audience itself. That can
Mhm.
be exposed to the your entrepreneurial business. I'm just curious about whether you've thought about how you expand the tentacles of this business that is germinating right now, how you expand it to involve, like, let's say, churches and institutions that command a lot of crowds, because I think the more people become aware, the more obviously they'll be led to come and purchase.
Mhm. I have started to think about it a little bit, but right now I kind of like to be like where my feet are and kind of like take one step at a time. I
Right.
have, of course, thought about it, but I don't really have like a good idea to like how that would look, you
Okay.
know, because I don't want to just come in and be like, "Hey, I'm selling clothes." No, I want it to be like something meaningful.
Right.
Of course, where like I can take a profit and then give it back to like a foundation or something like that.
Right. Right. Well, I'm curious now. Is there an age group that you're appealing to with this project?
Well, I mean, of course, I would like to say my age, like 18 to like 26, but
Okay.
surprisingly, there have been people in their 40s to 50s who have also like bought from me as well.
Okay, so I can come in and shop and look at what I like and get something.
Yeah. Yeah. Surprisingly, there was last weekend we were at another event at the Eastern Market,
Okay.
and there was a father, and I'm pretty sure his daughter was around my age. So like
Okay.
he's at least like I was about to say your age though, like you know,
Uh-huh.
he came through looking at some pieces, and he was really like dressed well as well. You can
Right.
say he wasn't dressed like how many
Uh-huh.
dads you could say
Right,
dress.
right,
He was really like
right,
out there and dressed with his own flair.
right. So let's talk about just Detroit and the importance of you doing this. Normally, and I think this is perhaps the benefit of social media. You didn't have to wait, for the big NBC News or CBS 60 Minutes to come and do this big profile on Jordan Mottley. But I mean, you're on social media, more people are discovering you and so forth.
Hmm.
How important has social media been for you in getting your message out?
I think right now, if you have a clothing brand or any sort of business, social media and marketing is the most important thing you can have.
Right.
So I would say like TikTok, Instagram,
Mhm.
Facebook, anything social media wise, it's really important to be out there because right now I would even say TikTok is the biggest thing. So you will see, especially me, I've seen a lot of brands that have grown a lot
Mhm.
from TikTok. So
Mhm.
I think like that's something that I'm going to start utilizing more. But right now we are fully focused on like the Instagram, Facebook, and just like getting in the streets and being outside.
Mhm. I know you're only dealing with streetwear right now. Are you at some point looking at shoes as well? I went to the Sneaker Fest
Hmm.
2 3
Sneaker
years.
con.
Yeah, Sneaker Con. That's right.
Yeah.
I went with my son. It was cool. I mean, lots of sneakers and so forth at Cobo Hall, and so we call it Huntington Place
Yeah.
now. Are you at some point looking at perhaps making a transition to also include sneakers?
I think I
Or
would
that's
at
going to
some
be like a
point.
long-term project,
I think so. I think I would like to do it in the long term. 'Cause I think getting these shoes and sneakers and stuff will be
right?
really cool. Yeah, I think that it'll be a fun experience because you can play with all different types of soles and materials and all that stuff. So
Mhm.
I think at some point I would love to get into shoes because I do love shoes a lot too. I have a lot of shoes, but like I think maybe about a couple years from now, I think I'll get into shoes.
Okay, okay. So I want to talk about just the importance of what you're doing in Detroit. Most of the time, we see projects like this. Normally, it's people that come from the outside, maybe out of New
Hmm.
York or LA, coming to Detroit, see Detroit as an important market to basically partner with somebody to sell, either sneakers
Hmm.
or streetwears and so forth. But how important is it for you? To be doing what you're doing here for a city that you love.
I think it's really important because again, you made a good point of a lot of outsiders coming in and kind of coming in, taking over, taking spaces away from people from the city who could actually use it and use their platform more, or like I mean, could use that platform more than someone from the outside. I
Right.
think it's really important, especially as me. I'm 22. I think that's cool to see. Again, there are people my age who have bigger platforms than me, but we're all basically you could say sharing the same stage.
Mhm.
So that's why it's really cool to see like all these pop-ups is people all from the city. We're all sharing the same stage and we all have the same goal. But of course is we're making profit, but again we're creating art in a sense too. Like I have seen people come through, like my good friend Israel, where they have events and like there's photography, they're taking pictures everywhere. I think that's one of the cool byproducts as well. Like you get to meet so many creative people you can work with. So to me, it's not just about clothes, but I mean, it's just about like the art and the byproduct of what you're making is like the art though.
Yeah. No, no. I hear what you're saying. So at some point, I mean, there could actually be an art exhibition that goes with
Hmm.
the display you have going on right now.
Hmm. That's really my goal. And that's why I am trying to get more into creative directing and photography in a sense.
Okay.
So I'm learning more about color theory and how that works and how certain colors can clash and not clash, and
Hmm.
again, patterns as well. But I think what can be more appealing to people now is just getting more creative photo shoots. So sure, it's okay, this is Left Project, but I think it'll be more eye catching for it to be more art like you know how like Chanel or Vogue have all these really really creative
Yes.
photos. I think it would be cool to be able to do that and to have it from like somebody in Detroit, not somebody all the way in Italy though. You know.
No, no, I hear you. A lot of those big brands have their artistic director, creative
Hmm.
directors that direct, basically how these clothes are designed and so forth, and how it appeals to the eye. There's always a psychology behind,
Hmm.
how they produce these materials to get people's attention. I'm just wondering, what has been, are you looking at where you are now? Where do you want to see yourself in the next 5 years? Or is that too early is that question?
No, because I like to think ahead and think about
Mm,
what the future could for me. I think that in 5 years, I would like to maybe hopefully have a brick and mortar store, big or small. I think that'll be really cool. I want to be a staple in the community, and you could say even like a household name.
okay.
And you never know how big you can grow in a year, 2 years, even 3 years. 'Cause I've seen brands go, okay, this is where we were, 100 followers. Next year they got 10,000. Year three they have maybe 50,000. You
Right,
never know where you can go, where you can grow in 5 years. You never know. So I think that with the way we're going right now, I think we could really be a household name, especially in 5 years. I think it'll be cool to have a brick and mortar store where not only you can shop my clothes, but you can have other brands as well. Because I don't want it to be just about me. I think it really and truly does take a village.
right, right. Now, I hear that. And so let me ask you, the brick and mortar store, you want to have a staple, something that is established that people can feel,
Hmm.
and I think that even though we have a lot of people are online, and I want to ask you that, but how do you balance this, the overdrive we have towards online purchasing versus, vis-a-vis, having a building where people can go?
I think it's all about location.
Okay.
I think that's really important. And again, I agree. I'm not really a big fan of how everything is kind of online. I feel like it's kind of lazy to me
Hmm.
in a sense.
Hmm.
Because I always like to go out and try things on and, feel see how everything feels. And that's one thing that I've noticed at my last two events. People are always like seeing how the fabric feels in their hands. They want to feel the fabric, they want to feel the texture, they want to feel how soft it is, how rugged it is, they want to feel everything.
Hmm.
So I think that if you can supply, okay, I want to feel this, but also be like, hey, okay, maybe you can have them sit down too, to where you can have maybe coffee and pastries or something like that, something that's really simple to where you can grab a bite to eat and also shop. I think it'll be really nice because that's something that we had this past weekend. We had a food truck, matcha. We had a bar as well. I think that that's what can maybe keep you around, make it feel more homey to you. If you can have a cup of coffee, you know, walk around, see how everything feels, and then leave with coffee, food, and a couple of pieces. I think is really cool.
Right, right. No, I think you made a point because I had that conversation recently. I was shopping for something. I think it was at a mall or somewhere, but and it was an outfit. And I got into this conversation about just sometimes the disadvantage of buying an outfit online, where you're expecting a certain size, because sometimes sizes, do come, you may be a size 36, but
Hmm.
that particular brand or outfit, their size 36 may be a 35. So if you get size 36 thinking that it's your exact size that you wear, and that particular brand, their 36 may be size 36, maybe a 35, you buy it and then you try it and notice that it doesn't fit, and so forth. You get into the hassle of sending it back, either to the manufacturer or to the store, and
Hmm.
so forth. That takes a couple of days. And if you're trying to go out, you're buying the outfit for to go out, then you basically, have to go look for something else. Vis-a-vis going to a store where you can actually try instantly, an outfit and you can decide whether you like it or not.
Yeah, that's really one of my biggest fears too. You buy something online and I'm trying to attend this last minute, but
Hmm.
now you're stressed like, okay, is it going to fit right? Is it going to feel cheap? Is it going to be this, be that? Or you can leave, go to 12 Oak or Somerset, or even somewhere like maybe like Royal Oak or downtown,
Hmm.
you know, try it on, changing room, whatever, and then be out of your way within like an hour or hour and a half.
Hmm.
I feel like if we can market to that type of audience where, okay, you can just come in, be quick, changing room, try on whatever,
Hmm.
even maybe be able to like make alterations on the spot too. I think that'd be really sweet to just provide something different to where not only, people feel comfortable shopping with you, because
Hmm.
you can like, yeah, that type of like you give them that type of safety, but as well be like, okay, I can tailor it to you as well. I think that'd be really important.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a good point though, because I think that there's stores that used to have that, where they have tailors on the spot. Macy's used to have that. They don't have tailors who do alterations
Mm-mm.
anymore. They used to back then, back in the day, but they don't have that anymore. So if you buy something that you really like and it fits, but it overfits or it's too long, you have to take it somewhere else to either dry cleaning or someone else to do the alterations and so forth.
Yeah, I feel like that's one thing that I'm going to like just like as I get older. We're losing certain recipes,
Hmm.
because
That's what you call it.
we used to do certain things and
Right.
it's like, okay, like what happened? Or like where'd this go? Or like why do we stop doing this? Because again, it's that village type of sense where okay, like you can go to Bankole, he's going to really get you right. You can come in, can give you something to eat, maybe even throw in a discount,
Right.
have it tailored to you, and then you'll be out within an hour. It used to be like that. Like
Hmm.
that's really how it was. I was getting a suit for prom. I
Hmm.
was in and out within an hour and said, okay, I'll have it to you by the end of the week. It was really easy. And like I've been going to that guy since I was young.
Hmm.
It's those type of things where like you have that communal trust to where okay, I can go to Bankole and Bankole can get me right.
Right.
Where I don't have to worry about anything. And I know I can get it by the end of the week.
Yeah. No, no, I hear you. It's almost it's the same as, getting a haircut, right? I've been going to
Hmm.
the same barber, for more than 20 years. So, but no, so let me ask you this though, Jordan, as you're figuring this out, clearly you've put a lot of thought into this and the way your ideas are expanding on the program is very impressive. I'm just thinking, are there fashion designers that you look to? Are there folks that you're following? You know, um,
Hmm.
how are you thinking through this? Because normally, when people start an entrepreneurial journey, they can point to certain people that they feel have inspired them on a national scale. They're studying certain entrepreneurs to see, what is it that they can inculcate from them to build what they're
Yeah. So I can say my biggest two that really inspired me have been Virgil Abloh and Kanye West. And they actually did work together until he passed, basically in
doing. Right.
2022 or 21.
Hmm.
Those have really been my biggest inspirations because of, again, how out there they were. But again, just the way that, again, Kanye to me has always been ahead of the game in terms of fashion. He's always been at least a year or two ahead, and things are like, I was actually like really looking into him this week and like the way he was with Gap and Balenciaga and the way he played with silhouettes and all like the earth tones and all that type of stuff. And then Virgil with the off white and then Louis Vuitton and all that type of stuff. I think it's just like those are the main two that I really look to as well.
So how important is it then? This is very interesting, that you follow the fashion industry closely. How important is that to what you're doing now? Do you feel that you have to do that? Yeah, I mean, given where you're going and the trajectory of the entrepreneurial venture that you're doing, do you
Mhm.
feel that it's important for you to know what the latest trends are on the national and international scene?
I would say yes and no
Okay.
because me personally, I feel like it's always just up to the buyer though. Again, some people do follow trends, but there are always people that thrift or like things to fit baggy or like things to fit a certain way. So I feel like while like maybe wearing three-piece suits might be in, there is always going to be someone that's going to come in and want a double-breasted suit or want just like a simple one piece. You
Hmm.
know, I don't think everything has to be with the grain because me personally, I've always gone against the grain. So I think really
That's why you're
it's
dressing
in the
outside
eye of
the
the
box.
beholder. Yeah, exactly. That's why it's always for me dressed outside the box. Because again, I've always just been myself. I feel like that's really who I attract people who just want stuff that's cool, want stuff that's out there.
Mhm. That's interesting. So, as we wrap up this interview, I just want to give you an opportunity to talk to folks, Detroiters who are listening about just how important this project is to you and how important you think it is to the city of Detroit, the region here in Southeast Michigan.
So I think that this is really important because I feel like as a city, we have the opportunity to come together and get back to the community. And I feel like we have kind of left the arts behind in a sense. I feel like if we can come together and get back into the arts, we can start in the city and then impact others, words, Indiana, Illinois, the whole Midwest. I don't think it matters, but I think if anything, it starts with us. So I feel like if we can get back to the community, start with photography, videography, music, fashion, poetry, creative writing, whatever it is, I feel like we can make a change, whether it's your kids, someone else's kids, or just leading by example.
All right, Jordan, I want you to give us your Instagram handle, social media handle, so we can also display.
So
It.
on everything, it's just Love Project Detroit. That's it. Even the website, it's just Love Project Detroit. That's all it is. It's nice and simple.
That is a simple. You know,
Yeah.
you're quite you're clearly a brand strategist. This is what I want to say. Congratulations. So you got to
Thank
let
you.
me know for the next event you're doing. I want to come check it out and I want to come shop.
All right. I'll be in contact.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.